All right, this might work now. Maybe, maybe. We got audio. Oh, we got audio. I think we got audio. Okay. Sorry about that 3 minute nonsense we had there, but all right. So doing the best we can here, making do with what we have. Wow. I will not let you guys know how I was during that football game. It was awful. It was the most stressful thing I've ever been. But can't believe the Chiefs in a game, really on a season where most people thought they weren't going to get back here, have gotten back to the Super Bowl. Wow, that was an incredible ride. Watching that game, the ups, the downs. Yeah, I probably do sound a little bit hoarse. It's also a microphone from a headset, so we have a little problem with that. It's not my normal setup of an HD quality camera, and a much better uh, thing is a much better microphone. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have not any notes because I was dealing with a 4-year-old and traveling and stressed out, and I just didn't have the wherewithal to be able to get everything down. So Ryan is unfortunately his flight got canceled and he missed his connection flight. So he is currently on a flight, I believe, and he'll be landing to in Alabama later tonight to drive to the Senior Bowl area. So, oh wow, I'm as you guys can tell, this is not really a thing for me. This is when I'm like this, it's hard for me to get all my thoughts in the same note. But what I want to say first and foremost, everybody, every single person that doubted and wanted to kick Harrison Butker to the curb, all I'm saying, dude's been perfect in the postseason. He's got ice in his veins. He made a tackle last game that pretty much saved the football game. And then he comes in here and he ices the game winning field goal. Chris Jones, phenomenal effort. He gets 2 sacks, his first 2 sacks in his NFL postseason career. Incredible. It couldn't have happened in a higher leverage situation getting that sack. Just impressive. Just incredible. Patrick Mahomes on one leg, still there at the end, having to, when you absolutely need a first down on 3rd and 4, he gets it done. And then you get the penalty on the end of it because Joseph Asai, who, by the way, has been all over the Chiefs' offensive line in this game, was unable to keep off of Patrick Mahomes and allowed them to kick the game-winning field goal. Honestly, I think Butker would have made it from just about anywhere. He was going to kick and make that field goal. So I'm ecstatic to see that they were able to pull that off in a situation against the Bengals where they usually lose. Yes, we're going to talk about Marquez Valdez-Scantling because this was the biggest game of his career in the biggest game of the Chiefs season when they needed him most. They needed him most. They had 3 guys go down, all 3. And they were able to overcome it. The offense had their struggles. They could not run the football to save their life. That should be a huge confidence booster for Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Should be. And after that performance, yeah, I think he's probably in Kansas City next year. Because if he doesn't have that performance, I don't think he is. But when you get that kind of stuff, when you get that performance, and when you get that clutch gene, 2 touchdowns this postseason, once to ice the game against the Jags, and this one here, which was at the end of the day, a tire, and then you allow him to kick a field goal. Without it, where are we? I don't know. Without MVS in this game, I don't know. I don't think that they're in it. So yeah, there's that. Um, Yes, the early parts of the game, I don't have my mouse with me either, so I'm gonna have to use a mouse here um, to get back to this. So I'm gonna try and keep up as soon as like a super chat pops up. I'm just gonna hit it and we're gonna go with it so I don't lose it. I appreciate you, Brandon Meader. I never should have said Burrowhead. Also, the bonehead taunt by Wiley could have cost me. The game went differently. Yeah, I don't disagree. It's those and they showed Andy Reid on the sideline. Like, you got to keep your head in moments like this. You have to. You have to keep your head in the moments like this. You have to. And he almost didn't. It almost cost the Chiefs possibility to win this football game. So thank you for the support, Brandon. And again, yeah, I'm with you there. Appreciate the super chat, Daryl. I know exactly how you feel, Coach Chief. That's right, baby. That's right. I had to get a lot of my cuss words out before I came on online because, as you guys know, this is a family channel, so I cannot swear right here, right now, as of now. But maybe we'll get a nice members chat about this. But yeah, if you guys, I'm probably not going to answer too many questions tonight. We are going to just live in this moment that is the Kansas City Chiefs going to 5 straight AFC Championship games. They're now back in the Super Bowl 3 times in 5 years. How does that feel? How does it feel, Chiefs fans? You guys tell me. How does it feel to be from where they were and now they're here? 1, 2, 3 times, 5 seasons. Impressive. Impressive from this team that never really should have been in this moment. Okay. Honestly, what can you say? They shouldn't have been in this moment. Everyone thought they were going to be gone, man. Everyone did. And I know that Bengals fans are probably going to pop in here and say that the game was rigged. I can understand some of the issues with the clock. I have never seen that in all of my years of watching football. I've never seen that happen. And when you do go back to the play, the referee was trying to stop it, but no one heard it, no one saw it. Not that it really mattered. The Chiefs didn't score a touchdown. They didn't score points on that drive at all. So at the end of the day, I mean, everyone's got to make their play defense, and everyone's got to do what they can with what they have. And it's a 3-point game. It was tied at that point. So you might want to say it's rigged, but it's 2020 with 27 seconds left. Chiefs had the football, so it is what it is. Yeah, I definitely almost had a heart attack as well. It was definitely worth staying up for. I appreciate y'all being here. We got about 500 in here. Just hit that like real quick. Definitely help us out. And I know that there's going to be probably going to be some Bengals fans coming in here. I'll tell everyone the same thing I've told the members of this channel and the people that come in here every single week. Every single week. The Bengals have been playing the best football of any team this season, pretty much since week 3. They've been pretty much the best football team. Okay. They came into this game. They still played really good football. Offensive line injuries absolutely hurt them early in the game. They made adjustments. And then the very last adjustment, the very last one, was the Chiefs. You saw Chris Jones be put into a defensive end position, something that he didn't do most of this game. And in a high leverage situation, when they guaranteed themselves a one-on-one for Chris Jones, put him in a defensive end position. He gets the sack. That's the adjustment. That's the adjustment right there. You have 2 picks on this game. All 3, by the way, made by all 3 big plays like that were made by rookies. Jalen Watson made the first pick. Incredible. Great job undercutting that football. The second pick, Brian Cook was in great position and tips it to Joshua Williams. That is exactly what Ryan's been talking about. These guys, they're no longer rookies. They're no longer rookies. I think Trent McDuffie may have had his worst game as a Chief in this game. He was abused everywhere over the middle of the field. But next man up, L'Jarius Sneed went down. Willie Gay went down. 20 points. They allowed 20 points. All right. So this was a huge game from the young players. They're not rookies anymore, like Ryan's talking about. They are young, established players, and they absolutely needed to have a big game for the Chiefs to be able to win this football game. And when you get 2 picks, I know they didn't do anything with the first pick, which was a whole other issue. You had key young players playing high leverage and playing some of their best football in these situations. It was incredible. Yeah, Mike Dana looked really good, JP. I agree with you there. It was really impressive. Mike Dana has played his best football this season. He has been, honestly, he's basically a defensive tackle. They're not playing him a defensive end, they're playing him a defensive tackle. He is essentially a defensive tackle at this point, and the experience he gained at Michigan, moving from Western Michigan over to Michigan, playing edge at Western, and then playing in the defensive tackle spot at Michigan has really paid off. And, that's just, it's what it's done. They've done a really nice job there. The 2 unsung heroes, Night Hunter, definitely Dana and MVS, who you can argue have had some unproductive seasons. I think Dana's been better this year overall, and MVS has been extremely up and down. But at the end of the day, like they had huge situations and they played really really well in this game to give the Chiefs a chance to win. All right, yes, I agree, everyone. I've said this since the contract talks for Chris Jones have come up. He's going to walk in to the office, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to have Brett Veach, who's going to be sitting at a chair with a desk that's empty outside of a checkbook. That's all it's going to be. He's going to lift the checkbook up and he's going to show the pad to Chris Jones and say, how much do you want? Just tell me, because that's what you're going to get. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to write the check. They're going to keep him in in that situation. Yes, Amir, right. This, this right here. I mean, we've all talked about Sky Moore being a punt return problem. This game, he was a punt return solution. He had two of them. One that was called back, or was it? I don't remember if he had two of them. I think he did have two of them. But again, the one was called back from the punt from the penalty. That last one helped them win the game. It did. Sky Moore in a high leverage situation, playing at the peak in that huge situation. You had Marcus Kemp make a huge catch for a first down. Like they had extreme amounts of young players. Isaiah Pacheco again, really nice game in the passing game. Not so much as a runner. He missed some holes in this game quite a bit. Thank you for the super chat, Quentin. What do you think of people claiming ref ball? I mean, the Chiefs had a bunch of calls called on them too, that could go either way. I mean, I don't like I said, I've never seen what happened in this game with the clock issue. I've never seen it happen before. So that was a little weird just by that account, but at the end of the day, didn't have an impact on the football game because the Chiefs didn't score. The penalties and the stuff or the things that looked like they went in the Chiefs' favor didn't really affect them. And the last penalty that the Bengals got was an obvious out of bounds play. So I don't really go with that. I appreciate that, Quentin. Thank you, Scott, for the super chat. Activates welcome the Burrowhead troll button. Yeah, absolutely. That is 100% going to be a thing, especially after the talking that Mike Hilton did before this game. Appreciate you once again, Scott. So yeah, you guys, yeah, a couple more notes from this game mentally because I said I didn't write anything down. And early, I think the Chiefs did a really nice job attacking that offensive line. But I'm with you, Daniel. The refereeing was awful on both accounts. Like it was awful on both sides. They didn't really do a great job, but at the end of the day, I don't think it impacted the overall the way the game was played out. I think it was a close game. I think it was always going to be a close game, and I don't think the refs really changed it outside of maybe having some impact on the total score final. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's lower than it may have been. But yeah, so like I said, a couple notes. You have George Karlaftis with his sack in this game as well. Another sack earlier. They really did. They came out and they attacked everything. Um, and at the end of the day, like they did it like, early in that game. They didn't let the Bengals get going, and that really helped settle them in. I think it helped the offense get out to some moving the ball quickly. They didn't put it in the end zone. I didn't like a lot of the play calling some earlier in the game. I didn't like them not going for it on fourth down and six inside the 6 yard or in the 6 yard line. I thought they should have gone for it there. So it was tough to watch that, but thank you, James. Complaining about the refs is a loser mentality. Control the game if you don't want to lose from a flag. Yeah. Um, that's typically how it goes. Sometimes you do have the referees that have huge impacts on the football game. And that, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think it had a huge impact on how the game turned out. I think it just lowered the score maybe a little bit. But even then, who's to say that any team scores? Like the Chiefs didn't score anyway from those possessions. So, yeah, everyone's always going to complain about the refs in some way, shape, or form. Oh, man. You guys can tell I'm tired. My eyes are tired. I'm getting watery. All right. I got one here, and apologize if I missed some questions or stuff like that. I'm trying to keep all of this in front of me with no mouse, just like a mouse pad. So I appreciate it, Thor. The question: what are your game balls? For me, Chris Jones easy one. Sky Moore stepped up and was and big. MVS stepped up. Yeah, I mean it's pretty. I think it's pretty obvious. I think that Chris Jones gets the game ball. I think that that's pretty obvious. He was everywhere. He caused, I think, two holding penalties. He had two sacks. He was all over. He had forced Joe Burrow to get the intentional grounding penalty. He was literally all over the Bengals offensive line. He was everywhere. They played the game. Yes, yes. K Floss. He played the game of his life. That was the best Chris Jones has ever played a football game ever, and in the most key moment situation. I know we're getting some uh, questions about Ryan. I'll answer it in a second. But yes, thank you for the question, Thor. I do believe Chris Jones is it just is who it is. Like this is just who it is. Ryan is currently, I believe, on a flight to Alabama. His initial flight got delayed, and then he missed his connection flight there, so he was unable to make it for tonight. He's traveling to the Senior Bowl, as I am. That's why I'm in a hotel room with my laptop and a headset, and not my whole fancy setup. So we are making do with what we've got. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling good. Yeah, Chris Jones has been incredible this year. Just incredible. Offensive game ball, probably. I mean, it goes without saying. It's Patrick Mahomes. Over 300 yards in a game where he's, on one ankle and there's no run game. The totality of the Chiefs offense, down three receivers. That's the most difficult part. It's hard enough to construct an offense when you don't have a run game and you're on one leg. Let's talk about that really quickly. But you have Marcus Kemp and you have Sky Moore playing a ton of snaps when they don't play a lot in the offense. So they have to throw plays out. They had to shorten their playbook. They did. They didn't have a choice. They had to take what they could out of the playbook, simplify it for Marcus Kemp and Sky Moore. So you have Mahomes holding onto the football. You have him getting sacked here a little bit. You have some incompletions where it's because he's getting sped up a little bit, trying to get through all of his reads, and at the same time hoping that some of these guys can get open. So he struggled. They struggled. I'm hoping that we see some um, a little bit of improvement from these guys' injuries. I don't know about. We'll find out about Kadarius Toney, but you get 2 weeks now. You get 2 weeks to rest up for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I'm hoping that they can do that and get this done because it might be one of the more impressive victories. That might be one of the more impressive victories in this 5-year career of Patrick Mahomes starting. It might be like that was the most gutsy performance, especially at the end from Patrick Mahomes, knowing, a 3rd and 4, I got to run the ball. I'm going to get hit. Don't care. And he did. I think Frank was pretty good early. I think he got disappeared later. The Bengals were not healthy at all. They were down 3 starting offensive linemen. They lost Tyler Boyd. They weren't healthy. Let's stop that out right now. Definitely weren't healthy. But this is the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs lost a bunch of players. Bengals lost some players. Kind of evens out. So yeah. I know I missed a question up here somewhere. I'm gonna go find it. Thank you, Corey. Thanks for doing this, Dan. Oh, no problem. I do what I can because you guys are the best fans in the world, and especially after a win like that, I mean, I have to do this. Like, this is my job. Not only is it my job, but I love to do this. Like, so this is just, icing on the cake after that. So I'm so happy about this win. But are they going to be healthy enough in 2 weeks? Oh, that's the $1 million question, Corey. We're gonna find out. I don't have a really good answer for you, so I apologize. Sorry about that. Good thing I'm quick with the mute button. Ah, again, I do apologize. I'm going to miss a lot of questions. We're going to just kind of keep this rolling for a few minutes. I'm not going to go super late, one, because I have to get up early in the morning and I have to drive to Alabama. And I want to appreciate, just to take a second to say, I appreciate all of you so much. About 800 people in here tonight. I know the quality is not going to be great. I know the audio quality is not going to be great, but y'all are in here celebrating this football victory with, me. I know some of you are here to see Ryan, but unfortunately he's got some other problems, and we'll do what we can. But if y'all could just hit that like button really quickly, that would be awesome. I'd love to get a ton of likes on this and get all their Chiefs fans to join what we do here, because I know other people have their fans. I know other channels do their own thing. You guys have been the best. You've been consistently the best and so welcoming in all that you do and allowing us to do what we do. So appreciate y'all so much. Oh, the Chiefs against the Eagles in the Super Bowl is going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one. It was real tough. The offensive line, excellent. Philadelphia dealing with much less injury on their team right now. They, obviously Jalen Hurts may or may not be healthy. We'll find out about that, but that's going to be a game that we're going to talk about for 2 weeks. We'll definitely still have the Q&A tomorrow night. That's going to be for sure. Ryan will be a part of that. So I see up there KC Masterpiece. I see that get the sky miles. Unfortunately, no, I'm driving the whole way. It's a lot of fun, It's not easy to have a 4-year-old in the car and drive all the way. But I live in Missouri, so from there it's not hugely a huge drive. I think it's about 13 hours total. So we stopped in Memphis, Tennessee, and took my daughter to a little park earlier so she could get some exercise outside after being in the car all day. We took a little walk. It was nice. Oh, all right. So, do the Eagles have a chance in the Super Bowl? Of course they do. Of course they do. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough game. The Chiefs hopefully can get healthy in these next 2 weeks to make it a game, because in their current state, I'm not entirely sure that if they miss all these players going into the Super Bowl, that it will look as good as it could. Because I do think when healthy, the Chiefs Eagles matchup is good. It can be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. In Mobile would be cool to celebrate with you, Ryan. Yeah, we'll be pretty busy. We're gonna have our schedules pretty locked down there. But I appreciate the invite, Jake. If we had a little bit more time down there, I'd take you up on that. Yeah, Eagles are a great team, no joke. If you guys have any questions, I got some time to answer them. It's only 9:30. Psh, only 9:30. Can answer some questions. Maybe turn this awful TV off. And make sure to put those question marks in front of the questions so I can pick them out of the chat easier. This kind of does scroll up pretty quickly. So we want to make sure we get them out for everybody. I appreciate it, B. Spags did almost perfect this game. I'm cool with keeping him for a couple more years. I don't disagree in terms of, I don't think he was perfect. I think he did he had a really nice game plan. I think that they did a nice job adjusting. Obviously, you put your guys in positions to make plays down the field when they had, kind of bracket coverage on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase multiple times, and they just made better plays. But in key situations where you see Spags blitz a lot, he didn't. He let the defensive line cook. He let them do what they did. And that, I think, was the more impressive part, B, because we know that he loves to just get pressure and try to get that out, but he understood that he didn't have all of the pieces that he wanted. Down Willie Gay, down L'Jarius Sneed, you have to adjust. And I think that adjustment process that he went through to get to that point and hold the Bengals to 20 points, which was impressive enough as it is, and get 2 picks. I'm pretty happy with his performance. We'll see at the end of the day what happens. All right. Appreciate it, Deldrick. Chiefs players are dropping like flies and we still won. Yeah, well, I mean, you do what you can, man. They did a great job of adjusting. Sorry, Johnny. Appreciate the question. Is this the year the Beat should be GM of the year with the draft of his rookie class? That's a very good question. I think that without a doubt, he should be. Because again, you just had this. They're playing 3 young players now. They are established players, but they are rookies in the playoffs. Brian Cook in the secondary. Four in the secondary with Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Joshua Williams. And then you have George Karlaftis playing and Isaiah Pacheco starting. That's an It was a great draft class. Unfortunately, they've been put in the position to have to start them, but I think that they've made huge plays. Obviously, their play in this game was more than adequate to really allow that to be. So I think that's a really valid question, and he probably won't win it. He probably should, though. Bigger concern from the Eagles offense, Hurts legs or Devontae? It's Hurts legs. At the end of the day, you can do enough to bracket these guys and say, okay, but it's the legs because that frees up everything for their offense. If they can't run the football with Jalen Hurts like they can run the football with him, I mean, it changes the dynamic of the offense. Like you could see Joe Burrow taking off multiple times in this game, and he's not Jalen Hurts. All right, he's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a much better runner. So that's the for me at least that's the bigger concern. Thank you for the question, Justin. Appreciate it. By the way, Avery, you guys go check out his channel. Avery's channel. He does great work on the draft. We've been getting down in there a little bit, so we'll see how it feels after the Senior Bowl. Do you think we would have won without the penalty on Patrick? I personally think that Butker was going to make that from just about anywhere. I think they could have gotten a few more yards anyway, and then let him kick it. But I think Butker was going to make a field goal. I do think they would have won there. Yeah. Do you think? Appreciate you, Jeremy. Do you think Moore stepped up, or were we disappointed on his actual play? No, I think Moore did everything you could ask. It's hard, again, to be thrown into that situation when the playbook is not clearly not open to you. I think that they had to minimize their playbook and try to get him scheme touches. And I'll have to see again on the film how he did in that regard of getting open and creating separation. I know that he didn't do a great job on one of the plays that they threw him the ball, but I also know that Patrick missed him on a wide open throw that would have been a pretty big gain. So all in all, I think that he did well, especially on the punt return duties. So we can appreciate you, Cody. So we can enjoy this, right? I mean, we weren't supposed to be here in a retooling year. Yeah, this is kind of gravy for this situation, this season. The Chiefs retooled on defense, not just retooled and got bumped from the postseason early. They're getting their young players a ton of experience, and that's huge. I think again, Trent McDuffie played awful in my opinion in this game. I won't say awful because he had a couple big tackles earlier in that game and later down the stretch too. So he was more up and down, more down than up. And McDuffie, I think, needed this kind of a game. He was forced to play in the slot. They just didn't do a great job of acclimating him properly, and he got beat multiple times in this game, even by guys that weren't. I mean, that weren't Jamar Chase and T Higgins. So all right, so let's see here. Ooh, I'm way behind. I'm gonna skip a little bit here. Skip around. Appreciate you, KC Masterpiece. Dan, what's one player or players you were hoping to get a good look at the Senior Bowl? So I'm excited to get a look at Isaiah Foskey, defensive end out of Notre Dame. He's a chess piece for that defense. He gets moved around a lot, off-ball linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end, defensive tackle. They put him in space and coverage a lot. And I want to see him focus on defensive end, see what he can be in a pass rush role because at the end of the day, he's going to be drafted as a defensive end. So he's one person I'm really excited to get a look at. Another one, Matthew Bergeron, I believe is his name, out of Syracuse, and a tackle from there. I want to see. Really want to get the trench play. So I'm going to be watching a lot of that. Appreciate your super chat, man. All right. We're going to do a little closing statements here because like I said, I do need to get up pretty early. We've been going a half an hour. 820 of you here with me. Just celebrate the win right now, y'all. Just have fun with this, and I'm excited. Like this is so much fun getting to cover this team right there and just appreciating what we get to see. That game from Patrick Mahomes should be in all of your memories as one of the greatest games that he's ever played. Statistically, yeah, he didn't have like a blow up game, but he was over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game where he had to carry the offense. So, can't go overlooked that he was so integral and so impressive and dealing with all the pain. You could see that he was just hurting and trying and doing everything that he could. Patrick Mahomes has cemented himself already as one of the greatest players to ever play football. He's 27 years old. Appreciate this, Chiefs fans. Appreciate what you're watching. He's going to his third Super Bowl in 5 years. Third and five. Like that's 27 years old. That kind of stuff just it gives me butterflies, chills, all that kind of fun stuff. Oh man. Mezzi, appreciate your super chat. First reaction to how the Chiefs will attempt to stop the Eagles' rushing attack. So the Chiefs' defense has been pretty good against the run. The difference is that this offensive line is no joke from the Eagles. They're going to have to win against double teams because they can't send the linebackers or up to the line of scrimmage early. They really can't, or they're going to get beat on play action throws over the middle. You're going to have to see Derek Nottie, Colin Saunders, Chris Jones eat double teams and not get moved past the line of scrimmage. They can't get moved. That's the only way that they get involved in the run game. And then you see the linebackers trigger. If they can get some open holes and take on some doubles and eat some blocks for the linebackers, I think that's the only way they can stop them, because otherwise they've got some problems. Appreciate you, Nemez. Avery, thank you for your super chat. Did MVS win you over this game? MVS had a great game. I'm pretty confident I know what he is, and that's fine. I don't like the contract myself, personally. I don't like that contract because I don't think that MVS is a player that can play at this level every single game, and he hasn't. This is the best game he's played, I think, maybe ever in his career in a high level situation, even at Green Bay. I know he had some big games, but with Devontae Smith, I mean, excuse me, not with Devontae Smith, with Devontae Adams on the opposite side. He had, Travis Kelsey, but he's, tight end. He didn't have any other receiver help in this game. He didn't have any. And I really wish Kadarius Toney would have brought that touchdown in. That would have been impressive. But then he got hurt, so it is what it is. I appreciate the super chat, Avery. Thank you, Chiefs Knicks fan. Always in here. Appreciate the support. I'm missing all types of receivers and pulled this out. Good for us. It is, but it's also hopefully not totally bad for them going forward, because you hope they can get healthy going into the Super Bowl. But if they don't, if they can't, it doesn't look great, because the Eagles defense is very good. James Bradbury and Darius Slay are no joke. They've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, this is a really, really good secondary. So uh, it's good that they won the game without it. It's really unfortunate if they have to play without them in the Super Bowl. I appreciate your support, man. So yes, we'll do some closing statements right here, and then we'll get you guys out of here so you can go have a few beers, have a few drinks, enjoy the rest of your night, because we want you to enjoy this just as much as they are. They're going to go party. They're going to have fun. Fans, you all should do it the exact same way. So, like I said, closing statements here. Offensive line, I think up until like the fourth quarter played pretty well in the pass protection department. And I know that they couldn't run the football. It wasn't necessarily because Isaiah Pacheco couldn't get anything going. I think he missed a couple rushing lanes. Myself, we'll see on the all 22 if that's true or not. But I think they had a pretty decent day allowing Mahomes to do what he had to do. Really would have loved to see, you know, them score some of those touchdowns early in the game when they were in the red zone. It would have been pretty game changing. But at the end of the day, they were able to pull it out in the fourth quarter. So defense stepped up, young players playing like veterans, getting those 2 picks. Special teams did not hurt them today, by the way. Special teams, probably the best game that they've played in special teams all season. All season. Huge punts inside the 5 from Tommy Townsend. They were able to force a field goal on one of them, and then they get that sack on the very last one that he forces at the 10-yard line. Like, Tommy Townsend had a great game. Harrison Bucker was nails. Just incredible, impressive stuff from the special teams unit on a day that they absolutely needed to have their best performance. Special teams, underrated star of this football game. Punt returns. You have kickoffs. You've got, punts. You've got Harrison Bucker with the field goals. Yeah, special teams. That's honestly may have been what won them the football game in the grand scheme. They won them a football game, a special teams game. So yeah, that's pretty that's pretty impressive stuff from a team that looked like they were a college unit against the Jaguars last week. So yes, soak it in. I'll say it again. Patrick Mahomes is already one of the greatest quarterbacks, one of the greatest players to ever grace the football field. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again. We'll get to see them do that in 2 weeks. Um, I'm so pumped. I can't. I know that that game's going to be tough, and we'll talk about it for the 2 weeks coming up to it. Um, that's a team win. That's a great team win from the Kansas City Chiefs. They absolutely needed it. Um, yeah, you guys are fantastic. Love all of you for being here. And we are going to sign off for the night so I can shower and get some sleep. You guys try and go have some fun tonight. Celebrate this win because y'all deserve it just as much as this team does. You guys have been great this whole season and sticking with them, always knowing that didn't matter if Tyreek was going to be here or not, that they could figure out a way to do it. You guys are great. I love y'all. All right. You guys have a good night, and we'll see y'all next time, probably tomorrow. Don't forget, live stream tomorrow night. We will do the Q&A, and Ryan will be here. All right. You guys have a great night.